Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind to all of you. I welcome you to another episode of this podcast series. And in the backdrop of the Pahalgam attack and India's response to that through kinetic and non-kinetic measures, launching of the Operation Sindoor, and the geostrategic ramifications that are going to happen after that. What should be India's stance? What is the issue with respect to a lot of speculations with respect to Kirana Hills, as well as the Egyptian planes landing in Pakistan, and India's, very calibrated response in the escalation ladder. To discuss this very sensitive and a very nuanced matter, I have a very special guest with me today. I'm pleased to welcome our today's guest, Major General Rajan Kochhar, sir, Vishisht Seva Medal. He is also a PhD as well as has served in various theatres across India and has an in-depth analysis, in-depth understanding of the security as well as the geostrategic situation of India. So I welcome the General Officer to the podcast.
Uh, Thank you very much, Navjot. A warm welcome to your viewers. It's a great honor to be invited on your podcast.
Sir, the pleasure is entirely mine, and the audiences and myself would be enriched through your rich experience and your wisdom as it comes to matters military as well as geostrategic. What we have been seeing in the last few days, particularly with respect to media sensationalism and a lot of things that are happening. So I would like your opening comments on the coverage of this entire episode, sir.
Thank you, Navjot. I think a very good question because we need to have a responsible media in our country to give a realistic estimate of our strengths and weaknesses. Uh, since uh, I'm often on the media and number of channels I've been to in the last about 10 days since this thing Pelgam happened and then subsequently a response. Uh, Media to a large extent is not very objective in its reporting. Uh, Mainly for a couple of reasons they have. Because if you see things from the prism of the media's mind, uh, media looks for sensationalism.
Right, sir.
Media for TRP. So,
Right, sir.
therefore, they would like to exploit any situation to create a sensationalism out of it. There were a number of reports in the media which came about, which were inaccurate, which were not factual, and later on, uh, uh, it was ascertained that such an incident has not happened. So, my only request to the media is, though they have their own agendas and constraints, my only request to the media is that they need to be a bit more objective in reporting. Uh, Sensationalism, okay, you want to do some sensationalism, you can convert the facts also into a sensation. Creative content is a forte of the media. The people who are there in the media are extremely professionals, creative, and I have seen them, working because I've been inside their studios and I've seen all these young boys and girls who are onto the digital platform and they're working day and night with graphics and things like that. They're excellent in their job. So a bit more objectivism is required and maturity in reporting, and then only the media can be credible. Otherwise, we tend to often say that it is mostly jingoism, trying to appeal to a particular section of the masses. So I think possibly our Indian media needs to be more mature and pragmatic in its assessment. Thank
Right,
you,
sir.
sir.
So, yes, sir. So you very brought out very relevant and a very valid point when it comes to media uh, regulation and media becoming more responsible and adhering to the journalistic ethos. So taking that conversation a little further, sir, we have been seeing across the other side of Radcliffe how Pakistani media has also been claiming victory, and a lot of victory parades are being carried out with their prime minister claiming that we have won this war. So, as a military strategist, sir, how do you see such kind of chest thumping from the other side, sir?
So you must remember that every nation wants to project itself uh, as the victor, or does not want to project itself that it has lost the battle. Because what are the parameters of winning a war? Normally, in a conventional war, the parameters are that how many people have you killed, how much territory you have you captured, and what has been the destruction of infrastructure and otherwise in that country. So that is what the parameters are when you declare a winner. How many aircrafts have you downed, and how many tanks have you downed, and what has been the damage you have caused to the military of that nation. So, and these things are quite transparent at times, and at times it may not be transparent, because we have seen this Ukraine-Russia war and claims and counterclaims being made by itself. But then you saw that Russia went inside Ukraine and captured a whole, almost 18% of Ukraine today is under occupation of Russia. So Ukraine can't claim that it has won the war because of this territorial annexation. Uh, 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 if I apply this situation to our context, India Pakistan, classically it was not a war. Uh, at the most, I can call it a short conflict. We didn't cross the international border, or the LOC, and they did not cross the international border LOC. So there was no question of capture of territory. With regard to destruction, we have the satellite images, we have the satellite pictures. We have been able to uh, your, attack, 11 air bases of this, nine terrorist camps in various places, and it was visible. These, what I'm talking about, the destruction of the infrastructure is visible. With regard to loss of lives, they can never be a great accuracy in this. We may claim something, Pakistan may claim you otherwise, because remember, truth is the biggest casualty in war. Uh, the truth will never come out, because the
Right,
other nation has to admit.
right,
He has to admit that he has incurred these losses. If we say that, if Pakistan says that three or four of our aircrafts uh, uh, have been destroyed, we have not said that. So it is a claim against a counterclaim. And when we say
right,
that in Pakistan we have been able to destroy their aircrafts who were there on the air bases, Pakistan has not accepted that. So this ambiguity will always remain. Uh, we must base our assessment on what the international media is speaking, what the
right,
neutral people are be speaking. We have an Austrian gentleman, uh, uh, Tom Cooper, I think his name, who came on record to say that this war was decisively won by India, and he had his own logic, and he's a well renowned and a well respected geo-analyst, and
right, sir.
is recognized in the world. So
Right,
we have to go by an independent assessment, rather than browbeating the way Pakistan is doing. Because always remember, a person who has been defeated will make an attempt to show that he has not been defeated. So
right,
that's why this you are seeing this, you are standing on top of a tank or in front of a tank.
right, right.
Shabazz Sharif and General Munir is doing that photo ops trying to show the people, but I think the people of Pakistan also know. See, in
Right.
today's social media and uh, digital world, you you can't fool the people. Maybe one time, twice, and if you remember, there have been plenty of fake news from Pakistan all through this
Right.
conflict, and we have been refuting each fake news which originates from Pakistan. So let's take it at that. The world
Right.
knows Pakistan has lost. The world knows the 11 of its air bases have been damaged, six
Right.
of them badly damaged. The world knows that 9 terrorist camps have been destroyed. The world knows that a couple of its leaders of Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed have been killed. We have seen the funerals attended by the Pakistani senior army officer. So I think it's
Right.
ample evidence is available today to suggest that India has won this war.
Right, sir. So very well, very valid points raised by you, sir. So going further with regards to the damages inflicted in Pakistan, there has been a lot of chatter, a lot of chatter around, Kirana Hills, radioactive leakage, and a lot of those things. Boron shipment from Egypt landing in Pakistan, special strategic aircraft from US also landing in Pakistan, which assesses the amount of radioactive frequency and all of that. So, with respect to that, you are very well versed with how Pakistan doesn't keep its warheads and its launch how it nuclear material not at all one place, and how we see Sargodha Hills, Sargodha Air Base, it houses Mirages, and Mirage is used to for its launching its nuclear arsenal. So there is no smoke without fire. It is said in Nyaya philosophy. So what do you say, sir? How do you assess this situation, sir?
Yeah, Navjot, I think it's all over the media today. And as you rightly said, that there is no smoke without a fire. The smoke is there. Pakistan will not admit it, and
Right,
US will also not admit it because there is a report also that US keeps some of its nukes in Pakistan to be used against Russia or to be used against Iran. So
right,
I the fact of the matter is that Pakistan has 4 to 5 nuclear uh, bases or underground nuclear shelters where around 160 to 170 warheads, which Pakistan has of different kilotons, uh,
right,
ranging from 10 to 100 kilotons,
right,
Pakistan has. And India is aware of the locations because there is a treaty between India and Pakistan that we will be sharing every year. I think in 1991 this treaty was established that we will be sharing information of our nuclear assets and the locations every year.
okay,
This is part of the confidence building measures to suggest that we don't want to use nuclear strikes on each other.
right,
So uh, these two, there have been strikes by our missiles on 2 nuclear sites of Pakistan. One is, as you rightly mentioned, Kirana, and the other is Chagai Hills.
yes,
Uh, I think somewhere in the Baluchistan side. So, and as you rightly said, that these are near those air bases where these aircrafts are capable of carrying a missile with a nuclear warhead, because a nuclear warhead can only be delivered through a delivery means.
right, sir.
And either you deliver it through the aircraft because of the range factor. You want
Mirages,
to,
they're using Mirages mostly, sir.
yeah, absolutely. Or you deliver it from your ships, or
Right.
you deliver it from your land. Uh,
So
uh,
Pakistan doesn't have currently sea delivery system. It
yeah,
cannot
Pa-
have the
yeah,
only air and
Pakistan,
land, sir. Air and
yes,
land.
Pakistan doesn't have, so it's only air and land. So, uh, US, some logic I'll give you why this information can be correct. The logic is that US made a statement initially that this is a war between India and Pakistan, and we have got nothing to do with it.
JD Vance made that statement.
JD Vance made, other people also made, their Secretary of State also made that इसको लड़ाई इन दोनों देशों के बीच में हमारा क्या लेना देना है इसमें.
Absolutely, sir.
And all of a sudden, the statements got changed. What has prompted the USA to change the statement? I want to ask. How can a country like the United States change its stance, change its
Too soon.
opinion in
Too
a
soon.
matter of days? You see, foreign policies do not change uh, like the menu on the table.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
So, this gives us a seed to our imagination or our thought that something has happened which
Right.
has prompted the United States to change its stand.
Right.
Now, what is that something is for people to make a reasonable guess. And I think I, I am of the firm opinion that something like this has happened, which has prompted, because you see what happens is that uh, if this damage was not arrested, there would be a possibility of Pakistan reta- retaliating from their other nuclear bases and carrying out a nuclear attack on India, because
Okay.
they would have taken this as an excuse that you have attacked our nuclear sites, which, as per the agreement of 1991, no country will attack each other's nuclear sites. There
So,
is
so
agreement.
what you're suggesting is, had we not had, Pakistan would have retaliated.
There was a possibility. After all, you see, Pakistan has now an option that you have attacked the nuclear site, so we are going to retaliate. So I'm not saying that Pakistan would have done that, but nobody talks about these things right now in media, other things and
Right.
all.
Right. Right. Right.
But possibilities are always there. So
So
we are
Pakistan being
here.
a rogue state, Pakistan
Yeah,
being a rogue state,
yeah.
we cannot really
We are here
expect
to
some sense
discuss.
of,
See,
yeah,
in war, anything can happen. You
anything can
can't
happen.
legislate कि वो ये नहीं करेगा.
Right. Sir.
ये उसका दिमाग कब खराब हो जाएगा आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा.
Right. Sir. Right. Sir.
So you have to be prepared.
Right. Sir.
Always remember that you have to be prepared for whatever the adversary decides to unleash on you.
Right.
And
Sir.
you just can't say कि नहीं ये नहीं करेगा वो. Because अगर वो करेगा तो वो भी बर्बाद हो जाएगा, वो तो होगा ही बर्बाद.
Mhm.
There is no doubt about that. If Pakistan does a foolhardy thing like that, Pakistan will get decimated.
Right.
Pakistan also knows it. So the possibility of that strike happening is very remote. But still,
Right.
that 1% possibility will always remain.
Right.
And so I think the United States thought it prudent that this situation has to be diffused before it actually has the larger ramifications.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
So do you connect the $2.3 billion bailout that the IMF gave to Pakistan in the middle of this conflict to the ceasefire happening also, and a lot of these things? Do the dots join up themselves?
See, what happens is that you accept Pakistan as a rogue state, either you accept Pakistan as a terrorist state, either you put Pakistan in the FATF grey or blacklist. When you don't have any of these things happening, how can you deny the IMF loan to Pakistan? On what grounds can you say that हम इसको लोन नहीं देना चाहते? Because grey list में तो है नहीं.
Right.
टेररिस्ट स्टेट आपने इसको डिक्लेयर नहीं किया या आपने इसको प्रूव नहीं कर पाए.
Right.
यूएस पाकिस्तान को सपोर्ट कर रहा है, चाइना पाकिस्तान को सपोर्ट कर रहा है, रशिया न्यूट्रल है. तो मेजर पावर्स तो यही है, फ्रांस और ग्रेट ब्रिटेन, वो तो वही करेंगे जो यूएस से करेगा. सो पॉइंट इज दैट IMF does not have a voting system.
Right.
IMF has a system that either you agree or you abstain. You
Right.
can't say no.
Right.
You cannot disagree in the voting system of IMF. Either you agree or you abstain. India
Abstain.
abstained.
Yes.
So if you abstain, you don't get that vote.
Absolutely.
जो एग्री करेगा उसको वोट मिलेगी. और that is the way IMF functions, and that is the way Pakistan has got the loan. In any case, अगर ये ceasefire होता भी नहीं भी होता, I'm telling you, practically, Pakistan would have got the loan otherwise also. So
Okay.
people may connect it.
So, but
People may.
ceasefire, but do we connect the ceasefire to the Kirana Hills incident?
Oh yes, definitely.
Right.
Definitely, it has to be connected.
Right. But then why would Pakistan violate the ceasefire in a matter of hours? With Donald Trump also getting embarrassed because he tweets and even his word is not kept by the Pakistanis.
वो ना एक साइकोलॉजी अगर जिन लोगों ने पढ़ी है वो समझेंगे इस चीज को कि आपने पाकिस्तान के ऊपर लास्ट स्ट्राइक किया था सीज फायर से पहले.
Right.
जब आपने उनके एयर बेसिस को ठोका था उसके बाद सीज फायर हुआ.
Right.
तो क्या इंप्रेशन जाएगा
Okay.
कि इंडिया के ठोकने के बाद सीज फायर हुआ. तो अब जो इंप्रेशन अभी अब पाकिस्तान तो पाकिस्तान है एंड इट वांट्स टू हैव द लास्ट वर्ड. तो पाकिस्तान ने बोला कि छुटका मुटका अपने ड्रोन भेज दो और इतने ही भेजो, 50 ही भेजो जिससे मैटर एस्केलेट ना हो.
पता चल जाए कि हमने कर दिया बट एस्केलेशन भी.
And let us also be in a position to tell our people that we were the last to hit India, not India, and not India has hit us. We were the last. उसके बाद हमने सीज फायर को लागू किया. तो ये एक छोटी मेंटालिटी है, छोटी सोच है एक देश की. वो देश जानता है कि उसको बुरी तरीके से शिकस्त मिली है. But this is one way of building a narrative in Pakistan. With that building up today, as you rightly said, that your Shabazz and Munir are talking of victory, because this is what they want the people to believe. Because the day army loses its relevance in Pakistan, it will be very difficult for the army to dictate the geopolitics of this region.
Right.
So the army has to stay relevant. और ये जो झूठ का चूरन है ये खिलाते रहेंगे अपने लोगों को क्योंकि वो हमेशा relevant अपना रहना चाहते हैं.
Right, sir. Sir, how do you assess our little bit of silence, strategic silence, I would say, when Pakistani drones had been coming for the last 2 days post the ceasefire? Are we allowing Pakistanis, a space for honorable exit? It is said that in the art of warfare, you do allow the enemy, an honorable exit sometimes to just let things be. What do you say, sir?
See, if those drones have not caused any damage to you,
yes,
let them fly. Because Prime Minister has said very, very clearly the Modi doctrine was being discussed yesterday. I was part of the discussion on News 9 and NDTV. This is the new normal.
Right.
Earlier, the ceasefire violation used to take place on the line of control with small arms fire. Sometimes it used to happen with some arty shelling.
Arty shelling also.
But now the new normal is drones. You will now find the situation on the Indo-Pakistan border, whenever there will be some kind of tension, some kind of conflict, you will find that Pakistan will send the drones over and we will also send them over. So that is the new normal. Don't violate the IB, don't cross over, don't give an opportunity to escalate a conflict. Leave it up to the drones. You want to escalate it, you can launch a few missiles. Beyond that, no country will do anything more than that, because anything more than that, getting your air force into Pakistan or Pakistan's air force getting into India, will escalate into a war situation, which neither Pakistan wants it, neither India wants it, because war से आपको क्या हासिल होगा? आप पाकिस्तान को खत्म तो नहीं कर पाएंगे, बिकॉज आपकी जो फौजें हैं उसमें इतना फर्क नहीं है कि आप पाकिस्तान के इसको लाहौर को कैप्चर कर लेंगे या उसके उसको इस्लामाबाद तक पहुंच जाएंगे, और ना ही पाकिस्तान कैन गेट इनटू इंडिया। तो पाकिस्तान जो क्लेम करता है हम अपने अमृतसर के पाएंगे, हम वहां चाय पियेंगे, हम फलाना ये करेंगे, पाकिस्तान के पास कैपेबिलिटी नहीं। सो यू सी टुडेज present situation will remain like this. A ceasefire will hold as long as it can hold. Minor violations of the ceasefire will not result in the ceasefire being broken. It will continue. कभी कभी आप देखेंगे छुटपुट इंसिडेंट्स होंगे। पहले भी तो 2003 से हम सीज फायर ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं, 2021 के बाद भी हमने सीज फायर दोबारा से उसको इनिशिएट किया है। तब भी इंसिडेंट्स होते थे, स्मॉल आर्म फायर होता था, कभी कभार आर्टी फायर होता था। सो नाउ यू कैन इंक्लूड द न्यू नॉर्मल एंड you can include drones into this category now.
Drones and missiles.
So now today's good news I'll give you. I have just read in the newspaper a 30 kilowatt direct energy weapon has been developed by the DRDO and
very nice
collaboration with a company, and it is called Bhargavastra. Okay. Now this is a hard kill for sorting out their drones and UAVs.
Right.
Capability is 2.5 kilometers. It can destroy small drones. It uses unguided micro rockets up to a distance of 20 meters, and it uses guided micro missiles to directly target the drone.
Right.
First, these unguided micro rockets will be launched, and it will cover an area of 20 meters. जो 20 मीटर में आएगा वो सब नष्ट हो जाएगा। Right. और जो नष्ट नहीं होता है उसके लिए guided micro rockets will be launched. These are point weapons and they will directly hit the drone. So right. That is Brahmastra is one, Bhargavastra is one, and the second one is your direct energy weapons, 30 kilowatt. These energy weapons will unleash a microwave spectrum. और जो भी उस माइक्रोवेव स्पेक्ट्रम में आएगा उस all those drones will get sorted out.
Right.
So in this new normal, we are finding a new methodology. We don't have to use our weapons, our L70 gun or the Zu-23 gun. We can tackle this through these two things.
Right, sir. So you talked about the new normal, but sir, I myself come from a border town of Akhnur in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. So as you mentioned about ceasefire violations, post-Kargil war and all of that, RT shelling and small arm firing, we have been witness to that. But sir, right now, the drones coming into the heart of the city, Jammu city also, close to cantonment areas, as well as in the civilian population. So there are a lot of apprehensions, a lot of anxiety in the general public. And what is your message to those civilians who are a little in a panicky after this entire scenario, particularly in the border areas?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. Firstly, considering the present situation with the Pakistan, things are not going to normalize because there is the Indus Water Treaty also. Today, right. Their water secretary has made a appeal to India that we are ready to discuss all your objections to the treaty, and we want to go ahead with that. Please don't abrogate or cancel the treaty. We want to go along, and India's response is first you talk about terrorism, and then we'll talk about water. So they will not never talk about terrorism. So right, the water issue will remain, then the situation will not become normal. So that's why we say new normal. So the people in the border area now, uh, we have to build a number of bunkers now there, because you see, we have to start preparing for the safety of our people. So we have to ensure that they move into safer places whenever a drone is spotted, because a drone is
Right.
spotted, from a distance you come to know, you do have that reaction time of moving into a safer area. So I would think that certain underground shelters would have to be made, a prerequisite, designated areas where the people can straight away move into these underground shelters. Bunkers will also have to be constructed with overhead protection, so that these drones do not target those areas. And civil defense measures in each border town have to be strengthened.
Right, sir.
You see, when you have to face a situation which you can't stop that situation from happening, then you have to prepare yourself to be safe from that kind of an attack. So that is what I can say you as of now.
Right, sir. Sir, as you mentioned about the situation remaining fluid and volatile for some time, and uh, death was staring all of us in the face when there was a lot of panic. In this precarious time, in this volatile time, the aspirants, the candidates of the border areas who are due to appear in the civil services prelims examination, due to be held on 25th of May, they are in a state of panic right now because they have lost their homes. Some of them have lost their loved ones, and they are not in the mental state to be able to prepare for this examination. And since this examination is a really coveted examination, people prepare 1 year in advance, and the last 2 to 3 weeks are pretty crucial for the success in this examination. It would give them relative disadvantage with respect to candidates from other parts which were relatively not that impacted. So, what would be your suggestion to the authorities as well as to the candidates who find themselves in catch 22 right now?
Uh, a very good and a very realistic assessment what you have made. First of all, the government will have to see that how many of these people are affected. Because before a government takes a call, government will have to get into it that how many candidates are affected. Secondly, uh, government should consider this and extend it by 1 month, because
Right.
that much minimum time I feel should be actually given for the people to get over the trauma and the people to get over that lost time because they have not been able to prepare. So I think this is a this is my appeal to the government, uh, my appeal to Dr. Ajay Kumar, who has just taken over as the chairman of the UPSC. Uh, he's a person who's known to me, and I can request him, as in when he takes over as the chairman, he has not yet taken over, to do consider this important aspect, because it affects the careers and the aspirations of the people of the border areas.
Right, sir.
Yeah,
So we have also been trying to, contact various chief ministers of states, education ministers, and try to, get the grievances of the students, aggrieved students, to the right corridor. And with your support also, sir, we'll definitely, I'm sure that we will uh, bring justice to the aggrieved candidates, and government will take considerate notice of their genuine issues, sir. So
definitely.
moving on, yes, sir. Moving on with this discussion now, uh, we had a very, very equipped air defense system which thwarted the drones as well as the missiles from the adversary side. So, how do you assess our overall defense mechanism? How it has safeguarded us from, a lot of damage, that potential damage that could have been inflicted, and a lot of questions were raised. The United States, it tried to sanction us for S400 under the CATSA, and we went ahead, and lot of political will was shown at that point. So how do you see entire this scenario coming through? And India is now likely to partner with Russia for S500 also. So definitely we are making the right moves. What is your assessment of this whole situation, sir?
See, today, what has been demonstrated in this 4-day conflict is the importance of technology. It has been a high tech war, and the country which possessed the better technology has been on the upper side. The country which has exhibited this technology has been uh, has had the upper side or has been victorious. Uh, our air defense system, you, I'll talk first, and then I will talk about the Pakistani system. You see, our air defense system comprises of the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army, because air defense is the responsibility of the Indian Air Force uh, to prevent you anything from coming across, and the Indian Army to prevent its own assets, like
Right.
our command control centers, our communication centers, our tanks. When we actually move around, when we mobilize, also our air defense element also is tracked and goes along with the columns, our mechanized column thing, like to protect them from an air attack. So
Right.
the Air Force has this integrated air command and control system, IACCS.
Right.
So this is integrating the S400, as you said. This is integrating our MR SAMs or the Barrack 8.
Mhm.
This is integrating our Akash missile system.
Right.
So basically, the Air Force gets into this sort of air defense system with regard to the Indian Army. We have the Akash Tir. You have actually heard about Akash Tir. So Akash Tir is a joint development between ISRO and the Bharat Electronics Limited.
Okay.
It uses space satellites and a, a navigation system which is called NAVIC.
Nice.
This is used by the Akash Tir, and it integrates the Pichora air defense system, the Spider quick reaction missiles, the L-70 guns, the
Yes.
Zoo 23 mm uh, is, is Kushalka guns, and other air defense manpads or manual operated air defense systems, which,
Right.
like the Iglas and other things. So right from 600 kilometers away and right to uh, 50 meters away, this entire air defense system is orchestrated. Now, in a very, very short time, the Air Force and the Army, systems will get integrated, because so far the integration has not yet taken place.
Right.
They'll get integrated. So, what does the air defense system do? If I give you example of Akash Tir. So, Akash Tir is has a radar system also. It gets information from satellites, from NAVIC, and all these guidance systems.
Right.
And Akash Tir is also integrated with all our weapons systems of the Indian Army. Namely, I've already told you, L-70 guns and all these Pichora air defense system, everything.
Right.
So this Akash Tir, based on the type of target, will assign a particular weapon system to engage the target.
Right, sir.
जैसे कि अगर कोई छोटा ड्रोन आएगा, so that will not be addressed by a missile,
Yes, sir.
that will be addressed by a bomb.
Bomb. Yes.
The cost of the drone is say $1,000. The cost of this bomb will be $200.
Right.
So the aim of the Pakistan was कि पाकिस्तानी थॉट कि हम छोटे छोटे ड्रोन भेजेंगे और और ये लोग अपना मिसाइल इस्तेमाल करेंगे और हम इनकी
जी
जो
जी
मिसाइल को, जो उनका स्टॉक पाइल है या उनकी जो स्टॉकिंग है, हम उनको कम कर देंगे, एक
खत्म कर
एक
देंगे। यस
क्रिटिकल
यस
स्टेज पे आ जाएगा, उसके बाद हम अपने बड़े हथियार निकालेंगे।
राइट राइट
पाकिस्तान ने अपने बड़े हथियार निकाल नहीं पाया।
राइट
जब पाकिस्तान ने अपना फतेह 1 और 2 निकाला, तो उस टाइम पे इनकी फतेह मिसाइल को भी हमने फतेह कर दिया, वहीं पे खत्म कर दिया। हाँ।
राइट सर वेरी वेल वेरी
तो
वेल
तो मैं इसलिए बता रहा हूँ कि और जो उनका HQ-16 और HQ-9 जो ये इनको चाइनीज से दिए हुए थे,
जी जी
वो हमारे हम्पी और हैरॉप ड्रोन्स ने उनका बुरा हाल कर दिया,
यस
और वो सबको यूं खत्म कर दिया। उसमें एक स्टेल्थ है, एक स्टेल्थ सिस्टम था हमारे ड्रोन में जो इजराइल के हैं, which their radars were not able to detect.
राइट
And almost 30% of the Pakistani air defense capability was sorted out in the first 2 days of the conflict. And
राइट
therefore, it became very, very easy for our missiles and our drones to go
hit their
inside and
bases
target the air bases.
hit their bases.
So that is the way it was done.
Also, I mean, it was kind of an embarrassment for the Chinese also. I mean, Chinese, we really, proved that Chinese missiles and all of that could be really taken out and, proved to be an
See,
embarrassment for Chinese as well.
yeah, definitely. One thing what normally happens also, when a country exports a particular equipment, he doesn't give you the best
Right.
because he feels that uh, there'll be an opportunity for somebody to steal that technology.
Okay.
So, China, this is my belief, I may be wrong. China may not have given Pakistan the best of its equipment in terms of technology. That I think China would have kept for himself. But whatever China would have actually given Pakistan, it would have been fairly good. So whatever China has given to Pakistan has not been effective at all.
Absolutely, sir.
So Pakistan may have a grudge now against China that your equipment is not working and we
Mhm.
want a better equipment from you. So maybe now in the near future, Pakistan may get a better stuff from China.
Right. Right. Okay, sir. Sir, also in the geopolitical scenario, Turkey coming up in support of Pakistan, and Erdogan has recently just made a joint statement that we stand with Pakistan with our full conviction and sending those drones, and we uh, have been, kind of backstab. We were the first to support Turkey when that earthquake hit. We sent our,
Yes. Yeah.
supplies, our nurses, and we extended absolute humanitarian support. So, how do you see what should be India's response to this? You know about Turkey, Azerbaijan, and their Armenia angle also coming through. How do you assess this entire situation?
You see, India's geopolitical strategy or philosophy has been that when you help somebody, you don't expect anything in return.
Right, sir.
Vasudev Kutumbakam is our thought process, and uh, we consider the world as a larger family.
One family.
And that is why possibly India's approach has been like this. If that country is not responding to your goodness, and when it is trying to get into this war to support Pakistan, and I am given to understand that some of the Turkish drone operators were also there in Pakistan.
Okay.
If that has been the case, then India has to do something. Already started.
Yes, yes.
Tourism, 60% people have cancelled their bookings.
Right.
A great loss to Turkey in $1 billion right now. And it should be followed up in trade also because there is a trade we do annually of $10.43 billion with Turkey. It is more of exports, 6.65 billion, and imports are 3.78 billion. So that has been the trade. Turkey gets more from India than we get from Turkey. So it is
But
going to
then
be,
that trade deficit is in our favor, so we
yes.
will also be impacted. Our forex reserve might be a little bit impacted due to that.
Not much. Three to
Little bit,
four.
little bit though.
So see, this is the cost you have to pay, na?
Right.
Uh, if you have to pinch that guy, you may be also pinched in leisure
Little bit.
measure,
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
you have to go ahead with it. The larger perspective is ये पाकिस्तान हमारा दुश्मन है, आप हमारे दुश्मन की मदद कर रहे हो। टर्की का दुश्मन कौन है? ग्रीस।
Armenia, Armenia, Greece.
हाँ, ग्रीस or Armenia are the two countries which, for Azerbaijan also, I would like to bring into this conversation. Azerbaijan also need to be given back because Azerbaijan has also made statements in the support of
Yes,
Pakistan.
yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we need to focus in terms of our foreign policy, in terms of our defense mechanisms with Greece and Armenia.
right, sir.
Armenia, we have already exported our uh, Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launchers to Armenia. हमने उनको दे दिया है. अब
जी, जी.
उनको हमको ब्रह्मोस भी देना चाहिए, आकाश भी देना चाहिए, हमारा एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम भी देना चाहिए.
Right,
और
sir.
इसको भी इस तरीके से हमको स्ट्रॉन्ग करना है so that Turkey feels the pinch.
Right.
You see, Pakistan has got nothing to give to Turkey.
Absolutely.
Turkey supports Pakistan because it wants to show that it is the leader of the Muslim world.
Leader of the Islamic world. Yes.
And if anything happens to any Islamic country, Turkey is there to help.
I'm standing behind
So
you.
वो जो
Yes.
आपका Erdogan है, he wants to revive the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
So he is doing these kind of things. So we have to make it hard for him in multilateral forums like the UN, G20, and OIC,
Right, sir.
where we have an observer status in OIC. We must bring out this. We must engage with Saudi Arabia. We must engage with UAE. We must engage with Egypt. And we must show Turkey his place.
Right, sir.
So this kind of passivity, what we have been following as of now, has to be converted into a proactive stance.
Right, sir.
And this impetus of this movement of targeting Turkey and Azerbaijan, it should continue from day one. They should feel the impact, economic impact, as well as geopolitical impact,
Right, sir.
as well as the diplomatic impact. So this is the way we need to go about this entire exercise.
Right, sir. So very beautifully you pointed out the measures that we need to take, and absolutely we should make Turkey realize that it cannot take our generosity for our weakness. We also, know how to, deal with the geostrategic level, and I'm sure our foreign policy, the Mr. Jaishankar sitting at the help, he knows how to, pull those
Definitely.
strings, and he will be making the right noises in the
And
geopolitical corner.
so my appeal to the people of India: stop eating Turkish apples.
Right, sir.
Himachali apples, I think, are more tastier.
Much better, right, sir. Very, very, very good point, sir. So now, sir, moving forward, what should be India's long-term approach in the will be last couple of questions before we conclude.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
could be India's response or India's wider strategy in the times to come with respect to the escalation ladder that we have, kind of devised with respect to Pakistan? And as Prime Minister has also mentioned in his speech that terror and talk cannot go together, terror and water cannot go together, and यहाँ से गोली आएगी तो यहाँ से गोला जाएगा, and that kind of and nuclear blackmail is not going to
Yeah,
be taken
yeah,
into anymore now. So what should be India's move going forward?
yeah. See, India has to have a multi-pronged strategy. One is a diplomatic, one is the economic, and one is the military. On the diplomatic, the Indus Water Treaty must be abrogated till terrorism is finished from Pakistan side in Jammu and Kashmir. So
Absolutely.
that point has to be very clear. Let me tell you something. Pakistan's 80% of the people are involved in agriculture. Pakistan is an agrarian economy. 24% of the GDP gets from agriculture. Today, Pakistan is water deficient. Already, Pakistan has got only storage capacity for only 10% of the water it actually gets from the rivers. In non-monsoon time, if we stop this flow, or if we reduce this flow, अगर हम 20% भी flow कम कर देना, 30% भी flow कम कर दे, Pakistan will come out sneeze. So this is one important tool you have with you. Please exercise that. Second is keep the trade stopped as it has been done. No trade with Pakistan. Deprive Pakistan of wheat, rice, all these things. Let them take a longer route and spend more money in getting it. The third is develop. This is economic, I have told you. Diplomatic now. Develop a closer link with Afghanistan. Establish closer relations with Afghanistan, because enemy's enemy is your friend. A simple philosophy. Afghanistan and Pakistan don't see eye to eye with each other. So let us cultivate Afghanistan to create another front from Pakistan. Let Afghanistan say that we want Baluchistan, we want Pakhtunistan, we want any stan other than Pakistan. Encourage the separatist movements happening in Baluchistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in covert manner, like the way they are indulging in Kashmir with us. Give it back to them in Baluchistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. You will see from one side आपने पानी बंद कर दिया, दूसरे साइड से आपने उनका हवा बंद कर दी, बिकॉज अफगानिस्तान ये सारी उनकी वहां से हवा बंद हो रही है, यहां से पानी बंद हो रहा है. और तीसरा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जब पाकिस्तान छटपटाएगा तो वो कुछ करने की कोशिश करेगा आपके अगेंस्ट, तो अपने आप को इस लड़ाई के लिए हाउ यू स्ट्रेंथन योरसेल्फ, यू एनहांस द कैपेसिटी ऑफ योर ड्रोन वॉरफेयर. आज पाकिस्तान के पास इट हैज गॉट 1 lakh drones. You create a capacity of 5 lakh drones. You overwhelm Pakistan in case Pakistan attacks you. Next is upgrade your air defense systems. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing, robotic, जो टेक्नोलॉजी आपको चाहिए आप लो, उसको डेवलप करो हमारे कंट्री में and make it to the next level, because Pakistan right now is also doing that. Because Pakistan has realized that its air defense has failed, so it will also try to get better air defense systems. So you must beat Pakistan in its own game. So your air defense has to be strong now. Spend your defense budget on your air defense system. See, remember that a war with Pakistan is the last option. Pakistan is not in a condition to have a war with India, because Pakistan does not have the economy to afford that war. Always remember that. So don't buy those equipments which are actually needed for war. उनको प्रायोरिटाइज करो, उनको लेसर प्रायोरिटी में करो. You must buy, but at a lesser priority. Right now, your priority is on autonomous systems. Your priority is on your UAVs. Your priority is on your rocket force. Your priority is on your missiles. Strengthen your missiles arsenal. Strengthen your anti-drone system. Strengthen your anti-air defense systems. Just keep these things in your mind, and you will see for yourself that whatever misadventure Pakistan may try to do, you will be able to negate, and also strengthen your air force,
Right.
and your navy, because your naval power, let me tell you, in the end, your naval power will decide the next war.
So
Because
I was coming to that question of naval power.
yeah,
Before, it happens to be our last question also. So how do you
yeah.
assess the contribution of Indian Navy in this current conflict, and our deployment of our ships in the Arabian Sea? How much impact that did that have on turning the scales in our favor? And particularly, how do, because we have a very dominant naval presence vis-a-vis Pakistan. So how do you assess the role of Indian Navy here?
Very good question. Because see, पाकिस्तान की पाइपलाइन कहाँ से है? पाकिस्तान को सामान कहाँ से आएगा? तो पाकिस्तान is landlocked on three sides. So in case of a war, or in case of a sustenance, because Pakistan has got oil supplies only lasting for 7 days, how does Pakistan replenish itself through the sea? And that is why Pakistan has got two very strategic ports, Karachi port and the Gulf. So now, with your naval presence, what you did was you moved your aircraft carrier into the Arabian Sea. You moved 36 of your gunships into the Arabian Sea along with your aircraft carrier. You moved your submarines into the Arabian Sea, and you gave an impression to Pakistan that the moment you escalate, we will demolish the Karachi port. And we had those anti-ship missiles also. Recently tested, the K4 anti-ship missile was recently tested.
Right, sir.
That was to show पाकिस्तान के आपकी ships भी डूब जाएंगी, आपका सबमरीन शुरू होने से पहले हम आप खत्म कर देंगे, आपके पोर्ट में खत्म कर देंगे और आपके पोर्ट को नष्ट कर देंगे. और जो बाहर से भी, टर्की से भी एक शिप आई थी, वो भी डर गए थे, because they were under the impression that Navy can strike anytime. So that was a psychological thing you put in the mind of the Pakis, that moment you escalate, that is the reason they did not escalate and ask for a ceasefire. Because Navy played a very, it's a silent service. नेवी की बात आज कोई नहीं कर रहा है, क्योंकि नेवी ने कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया.
Sir, I would like to interject here. I would like to add here, when you said that ye act silently, Vice Admiral Ian Pramod, the DG Naval Ops, he also very silently, said his in very, very minimal words, he said what he wanted to say. What do you have to say to that as well, sir?
You see, absolutely, because he was sending a message to Pakistan,
yes,
that
yes.
हम कुछ बोल नहीं रहे, टाइम आएगा तो हम करेंगे, और हम खाली 85 nautical miles दूर हैं आपसे, only 85 nautical miles, and in 85 nautical miles you can play a merry hell with any country.
Right.
So Navy was very well prepared, well placed, well deployed, and Pakistan knew it. Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much, sir, for your time. And since you have another meeting, so we will close this here. It was really insightful, really incisive argumentation from your side. You brought out the geostrategic implications as well as our preparedness and how we need to go forward in this era of the new normal, as we say, the drone warfare, strengthening our missile defense systems and all of that. And also you talked about how we as citizens need to be prepared, how our media needs to act responsibly. I'm sure the audiences will take a thing or two from this podcast and will learn a lot from this. So it's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Navjot, and I must compliment you on your depth of your questions and the incisiveness of your arguments. I think the audience, with people like you, generating a platform like this and calling all kinds of people on different issues, you interview people. I wish you all the very best, because though we may say that our soldiers are our armed forces, but you are also a soldier of the nation. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much, sir. It means a lot, sir. It's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.